So this is geared more at carry over some of the shoulder stability aspects to more functional lifting things that people do in the gym. So we're going to go through a press, a row, an overhead press, and a pull-up. So starting with the press, and I've got these nice big 20-pound weights here. So as I lay back, it's that same concept of when I'm pressing, I don't want my elbows to flare out to the side. And a lot of times people will do that as they start to fatigue. So some safe ways to do this is when I'm pressing up, one way that's nice is to turn the dumbbells so that I am getting more of my elbows coming towards each other, because the opposite way of turning my elbows out to the side actually loads more of the top of my shoulder. And a lot of times the tendency is to do that when we get tired, and that can maybe feed into some of the problems we have with the shoulder with bench press. So I'm going to lower down slow, and as I do that, the dumbbells start to go more into this straight line position. And then right here when I go to initiate pressing up, I'm going to very lightly tuck my elbows towards my side as I rotate. Okay? Even if you want to stick with this position of the dumbbells the whole time, because some people have their techniques that they're used to, that's okay. As long as, same thing, when I go to initiate that press, I still keep my elbows pressed a little bit more into my side. When people are doing this with a barbell, some instruction that's been given is to actually try and bend the bar a little bit. So I do all of my heavier lifts with a slower eccentric portion, which seems to be safer and put a little more time under tension for the muscle to engage for longer periods. So I usually do a 4-second negative, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I will push with a little bit more force. Okay? And then same thing with the dumbbell turn. I'll do a 1, 2, 3, 4, and squeeze coming up. Okay? I usually shoot for, with heavier lifts, I'm trying to build power, somewhere in the 8 to 12. If you're looking more for endurance, that 10 to 20 realm is not a bad one to stick in. Okay? So now coming to the row. I'm doing this one in somewhat of a different position than most machines, but same concept. So as I start to initiate the row, it's the same concept of squeezing the shoulders down and back as I pull in. So whether it's a hands close or a wide row, I want to feel like I get that shoulder blade down and back position. And then I really let my arms straighten all the way out, and I let my shoulder blades come to that rounded forward a little bit. Because from here, I want to engage these muscles through their full range. So now when I start to initiate that pull, I'll start by squeezing my shoulders towards that down and back direction as I squeeze and pull back. Same thing, I do a 4 to 5 second negative, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way, and then a little quicker coming back. Okay? Now going to more overhead position, same thing for the pull-up. A lot of times when we go to pull up, we're getting tired, we start to hike those shoulders forward. And if you're doing that, you may want to stick with the weight-assisted pull-ups or the lat pull-down machine. But for the sake of just showing this video, as I come up here onto this pull-up bar, it's the same concept. When I start off with a pull-up, I want to squeeze downward to depress that shoulder blade. So as I start to go up, I really puff my chest out and try and keep that shoulder retracted position. Coming down slow, all the way down, and then same thing, squeezing the shoulder blades down and back. You can see my elbows kind of turn a little bit into that pinched in direction. All the way up, down, slow. Okay? And then just to carry over to the overhead press. So same thing, we start here, we do this sitting or standing. Standing is much more difficult. And same concept, as I'm pressing up, especially as I'm getting tired, I don't ever want to fall into that hiking the shoulder position. So as I come up here, that same press, the dumbbells can be straight or they can turn a little bit. A nice slow negative, keeping my elbows out to the side and back up. Another common fault with the press is if the shoulders are tight, we'll have trouble keeping this vertical position of the forearm, and we'll start caving this way or we'll start going this way. Now I will tell you, it's better if your shoulders are tight and you can't get your arms back like this, to do it with a little bit more of the elbows forward. I'd rather you be here and keep this straight up and down versus try and go wide and you can't, and you end up like this, because that also loads the front of the shoulder. So if for any reason you feel like you can't keep this all the way out and back position as you're pressing, just angle your elbows in a little, but keep the vertical position of your forearm to make sure that you're not loading that front part of your shoulder.